Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.
I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
This is exclusive.
What up everyone, it's your boy JAK Drip Mode and I am back, and today we're going to be working on a dial. Guys, I know I've been kind of taking a step back in the dial work. I've been working more on custom figs or modding vehicles, but it's because life has been really busy, so sometimes I have to remind myself that when I need to recalibrate, I got this hobby to help me. So today we're gonna be building a dial, and I've been actually really itching to build one, and I have a great idea for a figure that I just got. Let me show you. Boom! Here is Michael Keaton Beetlejuice, and man, this is a classic, and this is a classic from NECA from the early 2000s. Finally was able to obtain him in a good price. I do have the 1/4, but I've been looking for this 1/12 for I think like almost like 3 or 4 years now. So happy to have him in my collection, and I want to build a dial for him. So the scene that I'm going to be building a dial for is his graveyard inside of the dial, and it's like a little tombstone with electrical sign, and it's a graveyard, and when they bury him out, he comes out, and boom, that's that famous scene. So I'm thinking about building him that dial, building that scene, and I think it'll look great in my collection, and it'll be using materials that step outside the box. Like, think about AstroTurf. How am I gonna make that look like AstroTurf besides using regular AstroTurf, right? Because it's a miniature, right? It's a dial, so we have to blow it up. So how can we accomplish that? So those are some of the things I'm focusing on. So that's what today's dial is gonna be about. So let's get to it, guys. Alright guys, so let me just show you the materials I'm kind of coming up with. Found a format. I really love the texture on the, as you call the bristles, right? It just looks very almost like that AstroTurf, but just like zooming in, right? Zooming into the AstroTurf, right? So I'm debating on using this version and maybe spray paint it green, or here's some fake grass that I found too. So I'm gonna got some styrofoam, extra styrofoam that I want to get rid of. I'm gonna be just using it as a base, so this is great for that. Now I do have my pink foam, and this would be for the grave, so I'm gonna be cutting it off and shaping it out. And I got some Walmart skeletons. I got these in Halloween. Gonna use this to add on the actual tombstone. Maybe something more like this, a little bit bigger, so I can also expose some of the additional crosses that are lingering around, and then also having enough space for a little tree. So this is kind of where I'm going with this, so hopefully it works. So here I got Beetlejuice, and I'm looking at some references, right, trying to get some perspective to understand how big this tombstone used to be. So I'm using this leftover piece that I'm gonna carve.
Anything about an assault fight. Master Law, you don't talk, you're gonna die. I see. So you know how to fight. Well, today you're up against the King brothers. You want to fight? Fight with me.
Here I'm using a rock to start giving it those textures that are random, and a rock is the best way to do it. Got a good base, gonna start adding those details. Alright, so I got these guys. So I'm gonna put these guys behind. So I just gotta cut them up. So remove the back. I'm gonna start molding these guys into this one piece. Getting there. Just gotta do the wings. Alright, next I'm gonna start creating the wings, and I'm using leftover parts from the skeleton to create the wings. Now here I'm trying to get some perspective for how big this thing needs to be. So. Now that this is carved, I need to make this look like AstroTurf, like close-up grass. So, as I was looking around, I was like thinking about it. This is like a miniature being blown up, so that grass needs to be exaggerated as well. So, check out what I found at Walmart. Boom. We got, this is a bath floor mat, and I love the texture that I'm getting out of this. So I'm thinking about wrapping it. Trying to figure out, what would be the best way to paint this, because obviously spray paint is gonna be great. Just because it's rubber, I'm a little concerned because sometimes that paint can take longer to dry. Nope. Because this area here is like a graveyard. He comes out, right? Because we bury him out. I want to show that. So, start carving this part out. Alright, time to start priming. As you can see here, I got Mod Podge with black. Great for a prime coat. Alright guys, so now that this is dry, I'm going to put another coat of Mod Podge, and then I'm going to start laying this mat on top so I can start gluing it down, okay? Alright, so everything's glued and it's ready for painting. So I'm gonna prime it in black. Just want to show you guys. I still kept the grave, so you can either keep the hill looking like intact, or you could just expose the grave. So alright, here you can see that it's primed. Just letting it dry, and then I'm gonna go over it with black, and then at the end gonna go over it with green. Alright, so here I'm at with the Tombstone. Added the wings. No, not that bad. And now it's time to prime it, and then once it's dry, get into dry brushing to make this look like a little tombstone. Alright, so we have the tombstone. It's all glued and primed, and it's time for some dry brushing. So I'm gonna get some white. get real light amount on the brush and start dry brushing. You can see here I'm just really lightly just taking as much paint off the brush and keeping it really lightly on the tip. Just really bringing out the accents of this, and that's what dry brushing, one of the cool things about dry brushing, it really brings out the realism feeling, right? Like you look at this and it feels heavy, it looks like concrete, it feels rough. There you got it. You got Beetlejuice's Tombstone. Gonna start getting into the letters, painting them red. That's gonna be pretty cool. What I'm doing here is that I don't have a red paint marker, so I'm gonna use a white paint marker and start filling in the letters and then trace it with red, so I get that little bright red look and feel. Alright, so I'm gonna let that dry and then trace it with red. Boom, it worked. Definitely gave it a brighter. The result came out better because of the white base, but the red, and it's good. Not bad at all. Alright guys, so next up is the sign. So here I have the sign printed. I'm really printing it just to get some reference and size. So one thing that I'm thinking about too is that this sign actually lights up. So I got this piece of plastic right here. I also got balsa wood. Still just trying to figure out. I could build most of it with the wood, but I'm noticing the reference that this middle part glows, and these little lights here. First one I'm gonna go with is the wood. Cut out the middle piece and put the glass in the back. And then inside of it I'm gonna put some lights and hopefully it works. But first thing first, time to prime it so that I could paint it. So primed, looking good. Drilled some holes in here so that I could put a light inside. Alright, so now that I'm on this stage, I'm looking at the lighting, and I'm gonna kind of mess with this because to actually have little bulbs, I don't have a solution for that. So I'm thinking is, because the paint is really gonna keep the light in there, right? If I poke holes, the lights will come out. So I'm thinking for the light bulbs, the ones that are actually illuminated, actually poke holes to imitate light coming out, right? So gonna do that, and then the other ones I'm just gonna paint them on there. This is my dribble. Make it low. If I turn this on, there you go. It's not a bad alternative. So that's what I'm gonna go with. That's looking good. That's looking good. Let me get to this portion now.
And I will be transformed into one piece.
Gonna work on some of the details like the dry brushing on it. Oh, these are some browns, so I'm definitely gonna add those details. So let's just make this look old. Get a little splash of black in there, just a little. Let's see. Get the corners. Yeah, that's the dirt I was looking for right there. Look at that. Gives it that rusty iron look. Bingo. Alright, now it's time for the pipe. And give it a gray prime, then sprayed it a real pour brown just to kind of give it like almost like a rust. And next is, now we're gonna play with some dry brushing. So I'm looking at the reference and it seems to be coming from a top down. I'm going very light. Okay. It's a nice weather, look at that. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Gonna mess with some of this brown. Not too bad. Just give it that rusty pipe look. As you can see, I have the light going from underneath the dial through the hole into the pipe so I can run those wires into the top of the sign. Okay, so this is gonna be the part where I need to think about these things ahead of time, and one of them is gonna be making sure there's light coming into the sign, mainly the main box but also the arrows. So now I could glue that. Ooh, that's gonna look cool. That's gonna look cool. So alright guys, we're getting close, and next up is the tree. I was able to go to Hobby Lobby and there's like a plant section where you can make your own plants, and they're all fake. So I was able to get this kind of like twig like plant, and I was able to, you see I ripped this off, so I'm just showing you guys. It looks like a tree branch, but it's actually plastic, and there's a wire inside that allows you to like bend the, you know, the fake tree. So went ahead and I started making this tree right here. So now that I'm in this stage, I want to do some dry brushing, and the reason why I'm looking at the reference, and the tree is not like as brown as it is right here, so gonna get some white paint and just, I want to really punch it out, so I'm gonna just lightly brush it. As you can see, it's really bringing it out. That's what I'm trying to do with this whole plant here, so gonna be dry brushing it. It's looking good. Alright, next up is the actual grave area, and I was looking at the reference, and besides foam they use cardboard, and that's just a kind of making, you know, exaggerating a close-up version of a dial and digging into it. So I got a whole bunch of cardboard scraps that I'm gonna start populating inside of it. Okay, this gives the idea that it was dug, and this is kind of like their version of like rubble But I think it's time for the review. Ta-da-da! Here you go, guys. Here's my Beetlejuice Diorama. And guys, this build was actually easier than what I thought. I think the most challenging part of this dial is knowing what material to use to accomplish this AstroTurf look that looks a little bit more zoomed in. Because that was my biggest concern is, you know, I didn't want to use grass and like something that was a little bit almost blown up. Because, you know, it's AstroTurf and we're zooming in because it's actually a dial, right? So, in my opinion, one thing that I saw in the movie is that these little bristles really had to be bigger. And with this bathroom shower rug, I accomplished that goal. So, very happy. The sign itself, man, when I had patience to build it out of balsa wood. That's the material that I know is a material that was flexible, and it worked. I was actually very happy, and then be able to run that light inside so that I could have that sign illuminate. The tree, real simple. They sell those different types of branches. You could kind of like build your own kind of flower, but it's, you know, it's fake. It has metal wire, so that really helped me out. And then, you know, obviously having Beetlejuice just kind of sells the whole thing. But let me remove him for a sec. The Tombstone. I would say the Tombstone is a signature piece. It kind of gives everything balance and introduces even the actual hole where he's buried. And you can see some of the cardboard filling as it looked like we were just digging in through the dial itself. So I definitely really happy how that came out, and it really surprised. In this approach, I kept myself very amateur and like, oh, how am I gonna try to solve for this? And it really just ripping it apart and just throwing it in there like confetti really sells it. So it's like, this is not such a hard dial to build, guys. It's just really that sign and maybe being able to carve the Tombstone. But everything else I think is very easy to accomplish and really puts this dial together really well. I ran the angel light, so here's the switch. I'm able to turn it off and turn it on from here. It's just regular foam, the white foam that I'm not really a fan of, so I really wanted to get rid of that. So great way to use it as a filler. And yeah, that's it, guys. It's pretty cool. I could just have him, you know, posing right here, have him posing, you know, behind the sign. Or my favorite, just having him in the middle. And one thing I want to show you guys that I liked about the way I built this is that I can actually, you know, cover the hole. So this is what it looks like before they dig up, you know, Beetlejuice from the ground. So looks really cool. Looks very seamless. The AstroTurf definitely helps it out. This is pretty cool that I'm able to rock it this way. But yeah, overall, very happy with how it turned out. Very happy of how easy it was to get into this. It's, again, not a hard dial to build, guys. So if you guys have this figure, try it out. You'll enjoy this. And I just want to say it's great to be back. Great to get back into dial work. I really needed to get this out of my system, and hopefully start working on more dials soon. Alright guys, and that's it. Here is my Beetlejuice Diorama. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Hope you guys learned something new in this video. Guys, hit that like button, write a comment. If you haven't, hit subscribe. Guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.